guys, welcome back to my Flosstube episode number 7. So I have some fun things to share with you this week. I even dyed my first piece of fabric. I've dyed 2 pieces of fabric and started stitching on one. I haven't really decided what project needs to go on the next one. And after I enjoyed that so much, I purchased some more linen. So I'm really excited about fabric dyeing. But how was your week? How are you doing? Welcome to the Flosstube portion of my channel, which is a relatively new part of my channel where I talk about cross-stitching and other stitchy things sometimes. Lately, the past few Flosstubes, it's just been cross-stitching. So that's what I'm going to be doing again today. So first, I'm going to share with you my whips, my works in progress. I think I have like 3 or 4 things because I started a few new projects this week. And I have a finish to share with you. I told you guys last time that I would probably have a finish. It's not a FFO, a fully finished object, because I didn't actually end up getting to the store and finding a little frame for it. But so we'll get to that, and then we'll talk about haul a little bit. Not a lot of haul, I don't think, since the last video. Mostly I've just been enjoying the things that I have previously purchased and projects I previously started, and I've just been enjoying what I have currently. And then I'm going to talk to you about my fabric dyeing experience and then plans. So that's the order that we're going to go in today. So first we're going to talk about whips. So works in progress, that's whips. And so I was working some more on my diagonal parking method springtime pattern from Pain Free Crafts, I think. And so I want to show you my progress on that. So Heidi and I are doing this stitch along together, and Heidi doesn't have a Flosstube as of yet, but she's one of my swatchers for Moonshine Manny, and we share this common interest of cross stitching. And so we're working on this pattern together. I love that it has so much yummy honey mustard kind of tones, and that we're learning a new method of stitching. It's not really a method of stitching, but this new method of parking with the diagonal parking. If you want to learn more about diagonal parking, I will link you the video that Heidi and I watched before experimenting with it. It is a really long, like involved description of it. I ended up doing a lot of like kind of skipping through it, so you definitely don't need to watch the whole thing to get the gist. But there's a lot of good points in there about why to diagonal stitch. So anyway, let me show you that project. As you know, I'm doing this diagonal parking method. I have all of these lovely threads coming off of here, and I'm really enjoying it. I love how you can see the little blossoms starting to take form. So this is a really fun pattern, and I find that the diagonal parking method is really enjoyable as well. There's a ton of confetti stitching in here, which I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I would say this is like 1 block, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4.5 done. So anyway, it is coming along. Next I'll be coming up here, crossing this triangle here, and then coming up in like a parallelogram shape up to this corner. So that's what you'll see me do by next Flosstube probably. And of course the link will be in the description bar if you want to learn more about this pattern. Oh, and it's just stitched on, I believe, a 16 count. It might be an 18 count Ada. I'm filming this video on Sunday, as it has been my habit for the last couple months. And so you're getting about 2 weeks worth of stitching since 2 Sundays ago. So I worked on that project until I had finished the 2 blocks. And so then after that, I picked up the Halloween Quaker. And so I want to show you that. I really love this pattern. It is really cute and fun, but I got quickly distracted after working on this for a little bit, so I didn't spend very much time working on this pattern. So let me go ahead and show you what I got done on Halloween Quaker. Okay, so like I said, next I was working on Halloween Quaker from Lehi's studio, and this is where the main witch is going to go. So I worked on the moon that is kind of in her background, her broom, that there's these two little spaces, that's where she's going to be sitting. And then with this pattern, I'm definitely doing the method that is more familiar to me, which is you just, you know, pick a color and then stitch till the thread is out, rather than like the parking method, for example. So I've used some thread over here and here, starting a couple of motifs, but we'll get to those eventually. And then this is 28 count Lugana in the color Cauldron. So that's what I have so far. And if you're wondering what's on my nails, these are the recent Swatchfests mix-alongs that we made last Saturday. They are available for a limited time on the website. So after Halloween Quaker, I believe the next project that I picked up, I was in the Cross Stitch Unlimited Facebook group, which if you aren't a member of that group, and you, even if you aren't currently stitching but you still love cross stitch, like if it's not something you really have time for in your week right now, or you kind of fell out of love with it, join that group. It's so fun. People post like their finished projects or what they're currently working on or their ideas. They have questions in there. They post sometimes their hauls. But I just love seeing the projects that people are working on. There's just a huge variety in this world of all of these projects. And you also see new things that you're like, whoa, I would really love to stitch on that. So lots of times that's where I will get a new item that I will have hauled will have been because I saw it on Cross Stitch Unlimited. So I definitely recommend that to you. I'm in there browsing all the time, looking at all of the beautiful things that my fellow cross stitchers are working on. So this Happy Halloween I saw on Cross Stitch Unlimited, and so I was pretty excited to get started on it. I ended up putting it on a piece of fabric. I think it's a 28 count Lugana called Beach Walk, I think. It's pinks and blues. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go with the Halloween coloration of the flosses, but it's going to be interesting. So let me go ahead and show you the progress that I made. Alright, so here's the Happy Halloween piece that I was telling you about. I started with the wooden spoon, or I don't know what you call this when you're stirring something with a cauldron. What's that called? This is going to be the cauldron, and look at this beautiful green. That's actually 2 shades of thread blended. This pattern has a couple shades blended for 2 or 3 different symbols, and then there is some half stitching going on. So it's going to say Happy Halloween below it. This is a wizard. He's facing this way. This pattern is so cool. So super recommend it. The fabric is, again, I think a 28 count Lugana in Beach Walk from Picture This Plus. And yeah, I'm really excited to get back to this piece. It's so pretty. So I will link all the stuff you need to know in the description bar below if you want to purchase any of the patterns I've been working on. Alright, so I didn't get super far on this project, even though it's really fun from the look of that design. Couldn't you tell how fun this project's going to be? I didn't get very far because right in the middle of working on that, I was talking with Heidi about dyeing fabric, and she has been dyeing her own fabric a little bit, and one of my favorite channels to watch lately is Mama Loves UGB. I'll put any channels I've been watching lately down in the description bar below, and as well as any other links or information that you need about stuff I'm talking about today. But she has a video on how to, I think she calls it immersion dye your fabric, or maybe she says low immersion, I can't remember. Anyway, so I just followed her video and dyed up a couple pieces of fabric, but I did that in the middle of stitching on this Happy Halloween, and so then I was like, I want to try stitching on this newly piece of fabric, this new newly dyed piece of fabric that I had self-dyed, and so I stopped working on that and I moved over to this. So I purchased a pattern from Al Forest Embroidery. I love their entire line. Everything that's on that website I would probably stitch. I love all of it. So I noticed after I was stitching for a while though, that probably if you were able to purchase the kit that goes with the pattern, you would be getting a lot more interesting, like varied threads. And not being able to completely decipher the pattern because I think it's in German or it's in something. a different language that I don't understand. All I could see were, I saw where it said DMC and listed the threads. So I just picked up the DMC threads, and I wasn't thinking and didn't even realize till I got quite a bit through the little birdhouse that I was like, wait a second, mine isn't looking variegated. Duh, because I wasn't using any variegated threads. But I thought that the pattern would have like changed color through the area where it looks like shadowed and stuff. Anyway, I'm still going to love the pattern, but I have to admit that was a little bit of a letdown that I didn't realize was going to happen. And I heard Pam and Steph talking about Al Forest embroidery. They are Just Keep Stitching, but lately I've been watching a few videos from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, another channel that I'll link down below. And she has, if you watch her whip parade, you'll get great ideas about a bunch of different stuff that you could potentially, like different designers you could potentially stitch on. And so she was talking about a design that she was stitching from Al Forest Embroidery. So of course I'll link her down below, and I bet that she had probably been doing the kit, and that's why mine is looking a lot different than the original. So anyway, that was just something that I learned from my process through it that I just thought I'd mention in case you were thinking about picking up a pattern from them, because I highly, highly recommend. They're so adorable, but if you stitch it with the DMC, it's not going to look like how it looks on the website, probably just due to the different threads that were used stitching the model. Let's go ahead and look at that whip. All right, here is my Al Forest project. This is going to be a cardinal wing right here. This is this adorable bird house. The cardinal is going to be huge compared to the bird house. And then there's just kind of like little motifs like is in Quaker Halloween. So there's one. This is, of course, the bottom of the birdhouse. And then we've got some vines weaving around here. And then this is the piece of fabric that I dyed. So this was just an ivory colored, probably like 16 count Aida. And as you can see, there's some very subtle modeling in there. I wanted to make it really, really subtle and just deepen up, warm up this piece of ivory Aida. I think over here is like where you can see the best. So it's super, super subtle, but this is the first of the pieces that I worked on when I started dyeing some things. So I am enjoying it. It's almost like a peachy, like a dirty peach kind of shade. So there's my progress on that. All right, so those are all my whips that I had in the last couple weeks, and super, super enjoying all of those projects. Now I want to share with you my finished project, and this is the one that was almost done 2 weeks ago. So this is the cake pattern from Sue Hillis Designs, and it is stitched on an opalescent pink Aida that I think I picked up at like Michael's or Joann's or something. And I liked this pattern, but it wasn't like the first thing that I was going to pull out of Stitch Mania and finish. It wasn't like my favorite thing that I started in Stitch Mania, not probably by far, but Honor really liked it. And so when I was down here looking through my stash one day, and I was like, what do I want to work on? And she said, please do the cake one. So I think that I'm going to put it in a frame, and it's small, so I'm just going to put it on her desk in her room where she can look at it since she likes it so much. So let me go ahead and show you. It's not fully finished, but I'll show you the somewhat finished. It's stitched finished. Okay, here is the finish. Here's how it looks, and it's just so cute and sweet. My second finish of 2022. Only my second, you guys. But I'm excited to have it done. So alright, so next we're going to talk about haul. Like I said, there's not a ton of stuff. I did purchase, I think, a few digital downloads, one that I'm really excited to stitch on for Christmas time. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at that. It's going to be a little tiny blip in the video because I didn't shop very much in the last couple weeks. So the first piece of haul that I want to share with you, there's only going to be 3 things. But this one, I think I learned about on the Mama Loves You GB Flosstube channel. And it's the Gift of Stitching magazine, and you get all 72 back issues for that price point, that sale price. And I think it says on the website extended through June 30th. So if you're interested in this, I think you maybe better hop on it sooner than later. I do want to point out that the magazines are short. They're only like 12 pages on each of them, which I didn't learn until after I'd purchased it, but they're bigger projects. Whereas where I've purchased back issues from other magazines, they're kind of like all little tiny projects. There are lots of big projects in here. So that was exciting. And then this design I got from the same designer, the Love for Cross Stitch, as that Happy Halloween design, which I'm going to show you again in here in just a second. It's in my haul. But this one I got from the same place, and isn't it cool? I just love that. It's super, super fun. It kind of is the same feel as the other piece coming up in just a second. Look at that cute border. I mean, the whole thing is just really, really cute. I haven't started it. I love how you can see the jack-o'-lantern smiling eyes and mouth in the background of that butterfly. So I just thought it was interesting because usually when you think of Halloween, you don't really think of butterflies. So I thought this one was really fun. So I purchased this at the same time that I purchased the Wizard Happy Halloween cauldron thing, which you see right here. So again, there's Love for Cross Stitch, and both of the designs are by Brian Jackins. So they were both digital downloads. I just love the creativity here. It's so cute. And again, it's kind of like you're stitching on a bunch of different motifs in one project, which, as you know, I love. So, yes, these were both, I said this already, digital downloads. All the information will be in the description bar below, so just go search it out if you're interested in purchasing anything I've been working on this for this video, but also any of my haul items, it'll be down below as well. So that was it. Short and sweet. Like I said, I was mostly working with what I already had this last 2 weeks. All right, so now I want to talk to you about my dyeing process. So probably like a month or more ago, I picked up some Rit dye when I was at Hobby Lobby picking up some floss, and I just was looking at all the dye and I was like, what is the most neutral looking thing here? So I think I picked up camel, and because I just wanted to like dip my toe into it. I find that a lot of the patterns that I have, I feel more comfortable stitching them on something that's not a wild, loud color, because I just don't know how that's going to look with it. And so I wanted to go super, super neutral. Well, after my dyeing experience, I am excited to go pick up all the colors. Let me go pick up all the colors. Now, I will go pick up a few more colors. I haven't got back to Hobby Lobby since making that decision, but it was really fun. I was worried that it was going to be really messy. Basically, I just needed 2 containers, one to mix the dye in and with the hot water with the salt in it, and then one for putting your fabric in, scrunching it up, and then pouring whatever you want to pour over it. So like I said, I'm not going to teach you guys how to dye fabric in here because I really don't feel qualified to do that. But I am going to link the video that I watched when I was doing it, and so I'll put that down in the description bar. So you already saw the one piece of fabric that I dyed the Ada, and then I also experimented with first dyeing like lower saturation of the camel color, and then going back in, doubling up the amount of dye that's in my solution and going for more modeling, just adding the 2 different strengths of the dye at separate times. And I really liked that effect, and it looks kind of like a burnt marshmallow or toasted marshmallow, like a toasted marshmallow Jelly Belly. That's what it kind of looks like. So it was a lot of fun, a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And then you pull it out, you rinse it, and then I set it out on a towel and let it dry, let it lay there overnight, and then the next day I ironed it, and then voila. So it was pretty fun. I'm going to show you that second piece of fabric, and then like I said, I ordered some linen this week, and I don't know when it'll be here, but I ordered 3 different counts and weights to kind of see what I like. And when it gets here, I will probably experiment some more with different colors and different techniques and stuff. So I'm excited to share that with you, but let's just look at the one little piece of fabric real quick and we'll meet you right back. All right, here is the other piece of fabric that I dyed. So I think this is probably like a 14 or 16 count Ada. And as you can see, my modeling is showing up much more significantly in this piece. So this started out white, whereas the other one started out ivory, and then as you can see, the base color of it is like that dirty peach shade from the other one, and then there's a darker ratio, a deeper coloration of that same dye that I used to dye the base of it to make the modeling. And I think it's really fun, and like I said, kind of looks like toasted marshmallow, so I just have to decide what I want to put on it, but I really like it. And hopefully, like this big one here, hopefully by next time I'll have some more colorful pieces to share with you. All right, so that is pretty much everything that I did as far as stitching in the last 2 weeks. As far as plans, I wish that I were more excited to work more on that Alforce embroidery. I have to admit, like when I was looking through that website, I was just kind of like at everything. And then because there's nothing wrong with working in DMC, it's just something that happens when you like expect something to be this way and then it turns out a different way, and it's a disillusionment that happens a little bit. So I still really love it, but I am more intrigued by the Happy Halloween piece that I was working on, and so I'm gonna go back to that and work on that for a little bit. And then of course I'm gonna do 2 more blocks on my springtime montage this week in the diagonal. And you know what, I haven't stitched at all on my horizontal parking on the Dimensions Gold, but I'm just not as like interested in stitching on that right now. I can't help it. You just kind of want to stitch what calls to you. And I might start 2 things sometime in the next 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a serial starter, I have to admit, but it kind of goes along with this idea of stitch what makes you happy. You know, life is short, you guys. Do what makes you happy, stitch what makes you happy, and just always be kind. So I have a pattern from Ink Circles, which I really, really like. I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to put it up on the screen, but it uses this beautiful, I think it's a Gloriana silk that weaves through all the rainbow colors, and it's so, so cool. And I might start that. And the other thing that I might start is the Long Dog Samplers Cardinal Points, which is like maybe my favorite pattern that I own. It's so beautiful. That thing uses so many different threads though, so that seems like it's kind of a monster jumping between, I'll put that up on the screen as well, jumping between all the different threads, but I'm really excited to start it. So my Alforce embroidery was my attempt to actually be starting a Christmas pattern, because I love stitching. I love Christmas, like I love Halloween, I love Christmas. I probably love Christmas even more, but for some reason with cross stitch patterns, Halloween is where it's at. It's just so fun and exciting, and the colors are so super, super fun. You know what else I haven't stitched on in the last couple weeks is the Tiny Modernist, the calendar. That one is super fun too. So many patterns, so little time. So anyway, I might start those 2 things, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But that is going to be it for this Flosstube. I hope that you enjoyed. I didn't go to any stitchy stores this last couple weeks. I don't have any plans to in the next little bit, although I would love to get down to Shepherd's Bush again and look for a few flosses that I just can't seem to get my hands on, but we'll see. So I think that's going to be it for today. I hope that you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by for my Flosstube. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below, and all the links and stuff you need are in the description in case you want to go search out any of these channels. They're really enjoyable to watch while you're working on things, and for me, like, I don't have to look at the screen super, super often. Maybe it's the same experience you get when you watch other videos on my channel as well. But it's just nice, and if you find the right Flosstuber, it's really soothing to have on in the background. So anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments below if there's any fun project you're working on right now, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and the next time I see you in Flosstube, it's going to be July. So take care and have a fantastic day. Okay, bye!